Okay, we'll call the special meeting of Hanwell Council to order, please. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda with the following amendments. Add 7B, matter pursuant to Section 68(1)B of the Local Governance Act, personal information as defined in the Right to Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Remove 5, procedural bylaw repeal.
Seconder?
I will second.
Any questions, comments? All
So,
those in favor?
question, so by enacting the new one,
Yeah, if you read in the summary,
Yeah.
when you do your summary part, you're gonna read the summary, and then the summary, it says you're repealing,
okay,
which is
yeah,
why we've taken it out of 5.
yeah, cool.
Okay, any other questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Thank you, council. Moving on to item 3, strategic plan presentation by Jihad Jimtech.
Good evening, Your Worship, dear members of council. So excited to be here, and thank you for choosing Gemtech on this exciting project, and share your thanks in advance for helping with the presentation. So tonight we're gonna talk to you, give you a heads up basically of what to expect as part of the process, and get you mentally prepared, and get you also, will solicit your input later on specific items through. On the agenda, a little bit about us, the benefit of strategic planning, the elements you expect to see in the strategic plan, the role of council, and like I mentioned, we're gonna solicit your input another time on community engagement. We were established in '86, and our main office is here in Hanwell. Very proud of that. We're 400 engineers, scientists, and technical personnel across Atlantic Canada all the way to Ontario, 13 offices altogether. We have Concrete certified laboratories across Canada, also in Ontario and Quebec. So we can help you with all the services on the right hand side: civil, structural, geotech, material testing, water resources, that's hydrology and hydrogeology. We have an big environmental unit for environmental assessments and permitting, and the rest of the good engineering stuff. The project team, you mostly see myself and Jeff Trail. I'm the municipal and asset management lead with Gemtech, and Jeff was the CEO for the city of St. John, and he was the deputy CEO for the city of Fredericton as well. Dave Knowles is also on the team. He's more on the operational side of things. He was senior manager, director of public works in the city of Dieppe. And the asset management unit mainly deals with special municipal projects, feasibility studies on buildings assessments, asset management, you name it. So anything unique under the municipal house, you need some guidance or assistance, that's what our unit does. So why have a strategic plan? It allows you to be proactive instead of reactive, give that sense of direction. Everybody's knowing where they're heading, what the priorities are for the next 5 years. As elected officials, you get pulled in every direction. Everybody wants something and they want it today. So this gives you also, not the excuse, but you know, this is what our capacity is, this is what our budget and human resources allows us to do over the next 5 years. And obviously when you have, when you're focused and you have a sense of direction, you become more efficient, and you have budget discussions become a little easier as well. What you would see in any strategic plan typically is a vision, a mission, statements, and core values. You would also obviously see the strategic priorities, but it would not be a plan, it would be a speech if it doesn't have goals, actions, lead personnel leading that action, due date. Sometimes it's a shot in the dark, but at least there's a good date. And key performance indicators or performance targets which define success, what success looks like, help you see where you are, where you're standing. So let's take a deeper dive into each one of these elements. A vision is a broad statement idealistic future of your community. It typically sets the direction where you're going, where you aspire to be over the long term. A mission, Sherry would be more mission. is more action oriented, so this is where we want to be, but the mission is more action oriented that allows you to get to your vision over the course of your plan. The core values are what constitutes your organization, it's your DNA. What do you value, and what are the culture and norms in the organizations, and it gives people the message, especially for the new staff, whether they fit in the organization or not. What's a strategic plan versus a work plan? So a strategic plan is, one more click please, is being effective, and the work plan is being efficient. So you could be doing something very efficiently, but is it the right thing to do? The whole thing may not be necessary. So that's the one difference. Like I mentioned, doing the right thing versus doing things right. And strategic is very focused over the next 3 to 5 years. And it's typically new stuff. That's something that you don't offer or don't have, or something you want to take to a whole different level, versus improving something you already do on a day-to-day basis. That's more operational. So that's the main distinction. The role of council in the process, one more click please, is to, we need your input. We need your input when we conduct a SWOT analysis workshop with you. What are the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and threats? You know the community more than anybody else, and you're elected to represent constituents, and they're continuously talking to you, and you would have a better finger on the pulse and can advise better what the community priorities are. And when we get to public engagement, if that's something council desire to do, you could also be an active, take an active role in public engagement as well. Thanks. On public engagement specifically, you're going to hear a lot about that in the next slides as well. There are several options. I've seen council go through an extensive process for public engagement. I've seen other councils who do not, because they're elected officials and they already represent the public, they do a strategic plan themselves. A lot of factors play in that, but some options for public engagement could be traditional open houses. You could utilize some social media platforms and some online surveys or even paper surveys. And there's, show where you could go to each ward, establish a small kiosk or a tent on a nice day, and instead of people coming to you in an open house, you're basically going to them and getting their input about the strategic plan. And on the input as well, you could cast a wide net, or you could have the engagement more focused on specific, with specific questions and options. So many things to consider when it comes to engaging the community. And a lot of time, like I said, you know the community more than anybody else. We would follow your lead on whichever route you want to go. One more back, please, Sherry. So when you engage the community, you could engage them on the challenges and the opportunities. You could ask them what their priorities are, obviously relative to municipal services. And you could also get feedback on, or their satisfaction level with the level of service you're offering. They may like to have more of a certain service, take garbage collection for example. They may want bi-weekly or every 10 days or twice a week, recycling and organics and whatnot. And you can also engage them on something you don't currently offer, on new services or new venues, new assets. Okay. Our facilitation approach, we try to get the juices flowing. This is your plan, this is council's plan. Our experience and background in municipal management doesn't mean we're gonna tell you what to do. It just enables us to ask you the right question sometimes and get you to kind of thinking about all aspects or multiple aspects of certain decisions, just for more informed decision making. But we're in no position to tell anybody what to do. It's your plan. We need everybody's contribution, we need everybody's wisdom. All opinions are welcome and all suggestions, and everybody's comments are equally important. So whatever you're thinking of when you're getting prepared to the workshop, what's the strengths, what's the weakness as you see it, what are the opportunities, what are the threats, the more you have, the better discussion there will be, and the richer strategic plan will be. So I'll pause here. There's one more slide, but are there any questions about what I've said so far that's not clear?
Straightforward.
Okay, one more slide, Your Worship. Back to community engagement, and through Sherry, through Terry, sorry. We will follow your lead on that, but things to consider is what to engage the public on, the challenges, the priorities, the feedback on the level of service or any new services or assets you ought to have, and how you like to engage council and to what level, open houses, if any, how many, when, social media. Again, some council members, a lot of you folks may have social media platforms already and social media accounts, and you're in touch with your constituents, and you can probe that way individually and then bring that input to the session, or it could be on the rural communities page, whether you choose to have a ward tour or not, and how would that look like, and whether you like to have the public engagement before the SWOT analysis and your workshop or after. So you could always go back if you see something from the public that's not already brought up, you can adjust. And sometimes a council may prefer to engage the public prior to their session, so they can get a sense of what's urgent or what the community likes to see in the plan. So with that, I thank you so very much, and I'll expect to see you next time in a workshop setting. Be prepared to share with us some key items on what you see as a vision, as a mission, and we will wordsmith it, but some phrases, some words would be helpful. On the core values, same thing, and we have ways to kind of funnel things down and get something that council agrees to. Same thing with priorities. If you can come with a bucket of your personal, well, not your personal, but I mean as a council member, and then we will boil this down to come up with council as a whole priorities for the next 5 years. So the more input, the better. Thank you very much, Your Worship.
Thank you, Chad. Very good presentation.
Yes.
Yeah. And council certainly looking forward to working with you. Should be
Likewise.
an interesting ride.
Thank you.
Can we get a copy of the?
Yeah, it's actually already with the.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So the mayor and Jihad and I are going around to various locations in Hamwell tomorrow, just to give them an idea of what we have, and then we'll visit with Chief Kraus, and he'll take us through the fire hall so that he can get an idea of what we need to do with assets and stuff, like what we need to look forward to for the next 5 years, so.
Everybody's good? Okay, we want to move on to item 4, the procedural bylaw enactment. So we need somebody to do some reading for us, probably Councilor McKenzie. I think.
Yep, I'll move that bylaw number 30-2023, bylaw respecting the proceedings of council, be given its second reading by title.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried, thank you.
Bylaw number 30-2023, a bylaw respecting the proceedings of council. And now that that's said, I'd like to be it resolved that the council of the rural community of Hanwell hereby authorizes that bylaw number 30-2023, a bylaw respecting the proceedings of council, be read in summary pursuant to section 15(4) of the Local Governance Act.
I have a second.
Okay. So, motion by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Holt. Any questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried, thank you.
Bylaw number 30-2023, a bylaw respecting the proceedings of council. By summary. Title, section 1. Definitions, section 2. Council, section 3. Council meetings, section 4. Decisions and voting of council, section 5. Points of order and privilege, section 6. Confidentiality, section 7. Consequences of disrespectful actions, section 8. Committees, section 9. Public attendance, section 10. News media, section 11. Signing officers, section 12. Corporate seal, section 13. Emergency or urgent requirements, section 14. Official language, section 15. Enactment, section 16. And that's the reading, right?
Yep.
Is that correct? Yeah. Be it enacted by the council of the rural community of Hanwell as follows. 1, this bylaw may be cited as the rural community of Hanwell proceedings of council bylaw. 2, this bylaw comes into force on the date of final passing thereof. And 3, bylaw number 01-2014, a bylaw respecting the proceedings of council and administration, enacted on the 19th day of June 2014 and amended on the 11th day of March 2015, the 26th day of April 2016, the 12th day of October 2016, and the 20th day of February 2019 is hereby repealed.
Okay, thank you, Councillor McKenzie. So, moving on to item 6, BMX trail landscaping.
No, there's still more motions.
So
It
the other-
has to be an actual enactment. So I move that bylaw number 30-2023, a bylaw respecting the proceedings of council, be given its third reading by title in summary and enacted.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Deputy Mayor Jonah. Any questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried, thank you, Council.
Bylaw number 30-2023, a bylaw respecting the proceedings of council.
Okay, thank you, Councillor McKenzie, job well done. Moving on to item 5, the BMX trail landscaping.
He's coming, he's coming. Okay, he's just waiting.
Taylor, you're up.
I just got a few pictures, so I'll plug in my laptop.
Just unplug mine. You're okay.
Do you need a chair or?
No.
Do you want to go?
What?
Do you want mine or yours? Want me to do it?
So has everybody gone to see the BMX trail yet?
Yeah.
Drove by a couple times.
Yeah, certainly going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna get, I was hoping to get some drone footage of it before the weekend if we can, waiting for some available free time, and want to do it during the day when there's no kids on it, because there's always kids on it now on the bikes, so.
Yeah, so I have a series of 9 photos of the park that I'll kind of flick through. But kind of once the park got done, kind of some of the thoughts and speaking with Ryan, the contractor, kind of shifted towards landscaping, maybe some security considerations of the park space. Us living in a rural environment, ATVs, dirt bikes, and everything are around. He did note during the construction phase, he did see a lot of that activity around the park, and he did make note that if either of those machines got on it, it would obviously ruin the park space. So I just wanted to quickly get in front of everyone tonight to talk about kind of landscaping in relation to a grand opening at some point this summer, and to address just potential security issues kind of with however we want to do that, whether it be fencing or another source of security. Right now, we do have one trail cam out there that we put up last week just to monitor the area. These are all pictures I took this morning, but I'll kind of flick through them here just to give everyone a better sense of what we're looking at. So this is kind of the main sort of view, not the park entrance with the beach volleyball court, but the secondary entrance. Here is looking left towards the small creek that kind of runs adjacent to the bike park. Here where I'm highlighting with the cursor is kind of one area Ryan noted as potential concern. It's just a small bog there, so certainly ATVs and whatnot could still get up and through that to access the park. Here's just an example. So this is one thing I kind of found this morning is what we are seeing too, is some kids riding the banks. And actually we're losing a little bit of gravel, so that's just something to monitor more on my end with the park students and working with Ryan too, just to make sure there's suitable maintenance or recommendations or whatnot to kind of keep track of that. This would be one of the bigger areas. So if you haven't had a chance to really go out and inspect it, there is kind of one larger area that will need to be brainstormed in terms of landscaping needs. This is the kind of the biggest area. I know speaking with Ryan when he was here in the previous weeks, he recommended mulch as kind of a suitable material. Now this space here, just being as big as it is, I don't know if it's mulch, grass, or whatnot, and certainly that's something we can brainstorm potentially tonight or over the coming weeks as well. Here's just another, this would be more of a smaller portion of an area we might have to fill, and that might be more suitable for mulch. And then we do have, oh sorry, I haven't got quite that far, new bridge he put in. What we tried to do is make it as narrow as possible while still being feasible for most people to be able to walk across comfortably, and try to make a little bit of a choke point, again, for those machines. And then here's just one picture. So again, in terms of landscaping needs, we do have one area that is holding a little bit of water to date. And then this is just a picture of the bog that kind of runs adjacent to the bike park. Walking past today, it is riddled with litter and garbage, a few other things. So I don't know if that would be something, again, with the investment in the park that would need to be addressed as well. So I think that's, oh, and this is the last picture. And so what we did to try to mitigate, I'll call it a security risk with those motorized vehicles, and like I mentioned, Ryan and his team were certainly keeping notes of those around the area. He did order a few extra rocks as part of the bill, but in terms of deterring, you know, ATVs and other machines, kind of more is obviously going to be necessary as well. So. And I think that's, yeah, so that's it for all the photos I took there. I don't know if anybody had any thoughts initially on that and maybe a direction we'd like to go with the landscaping, keeping in mind if we can to try to have a grand opening ceremony, say late July, early August for the space, and kind of creating an event around that, so.
So council, I think that we really should consider fencing
Yeah.
on there, for sure, even if you don't do like the backwoods area, but down the sides and the front. And then as far as mulch, we need to consider two options. We can go with the kind of the rubberized ones that we have in our park out here. Or we can go with normal mulch. Now, they say that there could be a liability issue because if you go with the regular mulch, there could be a nail or a screw or whatever. But really, if you put down the other, somebody could break a bottle and there could be, I think either way, we could have a liability issue. So our other option would be to seed it and put grass in there. Or we could possibly look at putting sod and have that done. So I think that it would probably be best if we maybe get quotes for all of it, like to see what is the best options and bring those back to you, so.
Cheapest option's not necessarily the best either. It would look really sharp, but it was grass and some nice trees that would grow in the center there. It might help absorb some of the water too.
Yeah, and Ryan actually, sorry, just give me one second. Ryan had also mentioned, when we do put if we did put trees in there, that we just have to be very careful of how high they're going to be for sight reasons for the kids playing as well. So that's something we can discuss with him to see if there's certain trees that would be best.
Yeah, that and just on some of our larger banks and things like that, he just wanted to be mindful of just making sure we are keeping clear sight lines. But certainly trees are, again, something he recommended and that he does see in other parks he's constructed, so.
And a good time of the year to get them
Yeah.
as well. So.
Okay, any questions? I see Councillor Holt and Councillor Fox have questions.
Go ahead, Tim.
I guess the only concern I have with regular mulch is the potential fire hazard with mulch. So, you know, especially if somebody's smoking in there and that kind of thing, and then ends up taking off. So, I think we should just consider that. I love the grass option. I just wonder if it'll just get run over by the kids constantly, and whether it'll really take anyway. So, just a couple of things to consider.
Councillor Holt?
I actually took a visit to the park and wandered out, and Ryan was there as well as Dan, and they were discussing grass versus mulch or whatever, and Ryan's preference was mulch, and the reason being grass in turn is easy to ride on. Mulch, once the tire gets down, it's harder to ride on, so the kids and most people will try to stay away from the mulch area because they can't move in it.
Yeah, it's like pea gravel would come in handy too, because you can't ride a bike in pea gravel, right?
Right.
So that's another option.
Yes.
So,
Councillor Heisler?
so are we talking, you mentioned rubberized mulch. Are you talking about the actual rubberized mulch?
Like what we have out here in the park.
I
Is
don't
it
know.
regular mulch?
That's not
It's
rubberized mulch.
It's like that fiber.
Oh, that's
mulch.
engineered mulch.
Engineered.
Sorry, yeah, no, I was
Yeah, yeah.
thinking rubberized.
Yeah.
The
engineered.
actual rubberized mulch versus wood chips or anything. Would that work any better? Because you can get rubberized mulch and it won't catch on fire as easily. The other thing I was thinking was that, are we gonna post like the rules in terms of do not ride up on the banks, you know?
Yeah,
all of
so
that stuff.
I have a sign, it's being mocked up right now, so I just got another proof here actually a few minutes before I came in, so that hopefully will be here in a short time. But yeah, it will be signed in terms of rules and best practices and things like that.
Okay, great, thanks.
So do you want me to get quotes for fence as well?
Yeah.
I was thinking about in regards to the fencing. Were you thinking of the chain link going all the way around, confining the area? Was that
Sure.
the idea? What I'm just wondering is, also, would it just be equally as feasible, and again, it's just something to throw out, is posts, pylons, various heights within, at a 3-foot distance, okay?
Chain?
With no chain,
Oh.
okay, because an ATV in turn couldn't go through those. So you have one up here, one there, it would blend into the landscape maybe a little bit better. You simply just to take a post hole digger, plop one down, 4 foot high, then you plop another one down 3 foot high. As long as they're 3 feet in between each other, it's going to stop the ATVs. It's not going to stop them, motocross bikes, dirt bikes, anything else, but they're still going to be able to access it through the bridge and et cetera. Again, just throwing it out there.
There may be more cost.
Councillor McKenzie?
There may be more cost involved doing that way. It's a great idea though, by the way. It would look really sharp too. The concern would be there'd be so many holes that there's a lot of labor involved in that. And it may end up being, without seeing, well, we need to see quotes obviously for it, but the labor for that may outpace the amount of cost of the standard fencing for distance. Because there's a lot less holes being dug, right, for the other fencing.
Councillor
Again,
Krause?
If you back up a couple slides into the middle, like your bigger open area.
Yeah.
What was the intended purpose of that? Was there one?
I don't know if they're necessary, oops. If there was an intended purpose of it,
Yeah.
other than just the way the design laid out. That's something I never discussed with him, but I could certainly have that conversation if there's anything else that maybe could be added to this.
Could you maybe put a little pad in there with
Picnic
maybe
table.
the intentions of a gazebo down the road?
Maybe future expansion or something.
Yeah, like even if you took some patio stones in there now and done like a 20 by 20 pad in there, just patio stones. That would solve some of it, because problem is you're not ever gonna get away from that vegetation, ever.
Ryan had mentioned that area could be, a picnic table or something like
That's
that.
what I mean.
With the two trees up, and as they grow in turn, shade that specific area over to provide some shading. I guess a pad, cement to,
Councilor McKenzie?
You wouldn't have to cross the bike path though to get to it, would be the only problem.
Right, you
Like to
can't.
get to the interior of it, so if there's people on it, you're basically crossing a traffic path.
that point there, dear.
I just thought.
Okay. Deputy Mayor John.
This is not my project. This is not the kind of thing I'm familiar with at all, but as looking at it from someone who is not familiar with this, mulch scares me. I mean, to me, all I see is this, I hate to say it, big ugly pile of gravel. And if you fill that with mulch, and then you have this big ugly piles of gravel, I just don't see it. I don't know, I mean, grass to me would help to make it look nicer. I mean, and as far as the fence goes, I'm not that fussy on what kind of fence. I hate chain link, and then it's gonna look like an institution. You got gray gravel, gray fence. It just looks like someplace you lock people up.
I think everybody, before we put it up for a lot of discussion, the
Oh, yeah.
idea is everybody should go and have a good, hard look at it, walk around it,
Yeah.
see what it's all about, just to give you a better picture.
I
better
think that'd be a
understanding.
good idea, because I don't see this as an attractive place at all, to be honest.
Says if they put in the large section,
Yeah.
if they had grass in the large section with, let's say, a mulch border 3 feet from where all the trail was, it might offset, but I can understand where you're looking at, that
Oh.
whole area being mulched, no, I
Yeah,
can't see that.
I
But the other smaller areas, the amount of grass that you could actually grow in there would be limited, and would be a pain in the butt to keep mowed,
Well,
but
I can see it maybe a
maybe a combination, yeah.
combination of some stuff, just
Yeah.
something to make it look a little bit attractive would be nice. And that's just my thoughts.
Okay, Councilor Leclerc.
I really just think whatever you do, you just need to be thinking about the future, just like, yeah, low maintenance, like, yeah, I kind of thought maybe it would be nice, so, if they do tumble off, there's something nice to bounce off of. Yeah, I think there is a point to be said about putting a bunch of grass in there, like that also seems like a difficult thing to know, but my priority would be the fence. If we had to choose, I would rather have the park actually still exist for us to plant grass or put mulch down, because if we don't properly secure this place, I'm worried we won't have one left
I agree.
to grass in, so that would be my priority if there was a choice in money funding, I guess.
Councilor Kraus.
There's no fabric put under that stuff, eh?
Not that I'm aware of, I can ask
It
Ryan.
doesn't look
No,
like it.
and I don't think.
Because if they were gonna put fabric, they probably would have put the 15
Yeah,
foot wide stuff and run
yeah,
containers.
but I can certainly ask the question too, Lee.
Okay, any other questions, comments? All right, Taylor, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
The grand opening, does everybody want to take a ride?
Yeah, we just
Who is a BMX bike?
BMX.
We can rent the ones from the kids. Thank you, Taylor.
Okay, so am I getting quotes? Did you want me to?
I will get the quotes, yeah.
Quotes?
For fence and rubberized mulch or whatever.
Fence, mulch, grass.
Yeah,
all
that's
the
some
time.
options.
Yeah,
just
yes,
for us
give
to
some
look
options.
at and, Yeah.
We need options.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Councilor Fox.
Just one question. So I know we had sort of a rough diagram about where it would go, but could we maybe get like an overhead shot?
As
I
well.
can do that on,
Yeah,
hopefully
something
Friday
that
afternoon.
because that would help too in terms of getting thoughts around what areas maybe should be grassed, what areas should be mulched, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, when we get that on Friday, it'd be, shouldn't be that difficult,
Thank you so much.
as long as it doesn't rain. Can't find rain.
All right, moving on to item 6, which is a closed session. And we don't really have any public that have to leave. We have Lonnie here from the Regional Service Commission, so he's gonna do some information for us. So I guess we'll move in this. So we need a motion.
Just one section.
Motion to move into closed session, please.
I move to go into closed session.
I'll second.
So a motion by Councillor Heislip and seconded by Councillor Gauss. We are now in closed session.
Just once I just want to check to make sure.
Question, the vote.
Call the question?
Yes. Okay. All those in favor of moving to closed session, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you.
I move to come out of closed session and move back into open session.
I'll second.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Heislip and to come out of closed session and seconded by Deputy Mayor Jonah.
All those in favor?
All those in favor signify, any questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you. We are now out of closed session.
Motion to send the meeting past 9 PM.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Fox to move to past 9 o'clock for our meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those contrary minded? Okay, we'll move past 9 o'clock. Thank you, Council. We have some motions.
Yeah.
Okay, I, Councillor Heislip, move toward the Access Road construction tender to M.E. Phillips and Son Construction Limited for the tender price of $67,300 plus HST for a total of $77,395 on condition that proof of insurance in the amount of $5 million is provided and a copy of WorkSafe New Brunswick clearance certificate is received.
Seconder.
I, Councillor Holt, will second that motion.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you, Council. We have a second motion for,
I, Councillor Heislip, move to authorize and direct the clerk to move forward with the hiring of an engineer to provide engineering services for the recreation building and storage building.
seconder.
Councillor Darren McKenzie seconding.
Comments, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded.
Aye. Nay, in that case.
Okay, and the clerk's gonna record the split.
Councillor McKenzie motioning to adjourn.
Councillor Holt will second.
Okay, yes. Any questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 9:07.